Hey y'all, Grayson here and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be making my sweet potato pound cake with a brown butter honey maple glaze. So let's jump right in. Now the ingredients for this pound cake call for swan's down cake flour, sugar, sweetened condensed milk, eggs, buttermilk, butter flavored Crisco, 1 box of vanilla Jell-O instant pudding, cinnamon, vanilla, of course sweet potatoes, butter, and nutmeg. I'm going to start this recipe by making my sweet potato mixture first. So the recipe calls for 1.5 cups of sweet potatoes. Y'all, this is so delicious and so moist you will not believe it. Next is 1/2 cup of sugar, 1 egg, next is 3 tablespoons of melted butter. Now I'm using salted. 1/2 cup of sweetened condensed milk. One teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Now that the sweet potato mixture is all mixed up, we're going to transfer that to a separate bowl and then we're going to get ready to do our cake batter. Next, we're going to start our cake batter. The recipe calls for 3 cups of sifted swan's down flour. Next, we're going to sift our Jell-O vanilla instant pudding in with the flour. Y'all, this is the secret ingredient. This pudding is what makes this cake so moist. Now that our flour and our instant pudding has been combined, we're going to set this to the side. Okay, next we're going to add 2 sticks of room temperature softened butter. And to that we're going to add 1/2 cup of butter flavor Crisco shortening. And we are going to beat this together until well combined. To this, we're going to add 2.5 cups of sugar. That's 2.5 cups of sugar. We're going to add 5 eggs, one at a time. Oh, that looks great. Okay, y'all, now it's time to incorporate our dry and our wet ingredients. Now, the recipe calls for 1 cup of buttermilk, and we're going to alternate these starting with the dry mixture. The next step is to assemble our pound cake. I used Pam, and I went ahead and sprayed this bundt pan, and we're going to go ahead and put our pound cake together. So we're going to go ahead and put about half of this mixture into the pan first. So the cake batter. Next, we're going to add our sweet potato mixture. Next, I'm just going to take a knife and swirl that all together. And then we're going to add the last remaining bit of our batter. The recipe calls for this to be cooked at 325 for 55 minutes to an hour and 10 minutes. So let's go ahead and get this in the oven. We're going to set our timer for 55 minutes. Okay, y'all, so the pound cake is finished baking. It took an hour and 15 minutes, and it's cooled for an hour. So we're going to go ahead and turn the cake out now onto this cake plate. All right, there we go. We're going to go ahead and make up our glaze. So let's go ahead and get started with that. We are now making our brown butter honey maple glaze. We're going to start with 1 stick of unsalted butter in a saucepan over medium heat. You do not want to walk away and leave this. This can take up to 5 or 10 minutes, and what we want to do is we want to cook this, stir it frequently until it turns a golden brown color and has a rich, nutty aroma. And once it reaches that golden brown color, we're going to go ahead and remove it from the heat. Okay, it's beginning to change a little color on me here. See how it's gone from yellow to this golden brown? Okay, I think that's it. That was 10 minutes. And we are going to transfer this carefully into a pot. Into a bowl. See that golden brown color? That's what we're looking for. Can you see that? Perfect. Okay, so now we're gonna cool this for about 10 minutes. So while the brown butter is cooling, we're gonna go ahead and we are going to take a cup and a half of powdered sugar, sifted. So that is a cup and a half of confectioner's sugar sifted. So you can see our brown butter. It calls for 3 tablespoons of pure maple syrup. One tablespoon of honey. 2 to 3 tablespoons of whole milk or heavy cream. A half a teaspoon of vanilla. A pinch of salt. Let's go ahead and glaze this pound cake. Okay, y'all, so let's go ahead and get a slice of this and see how this sweet potato pound cake with a brown butter honey maple glaze is. Wow. Can you see the sweet potato inside? Y'all, that brown butter maple glaze is insane. That is so good. This is probably the moistest pound cake I have ever had. The maple and the honey in that glaze is off the charts. The sweet potato is so good. The pudding inside of the cake mix, it is extra, extra moist. Look how I can just pick it up with that fork. That swan cake flour, y'all, is awesome. And that's going to do it for today, y'all. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you were inspired in some way to give this sweet potato pound cake and glaze a try. And if so, perhaps you would consider subscribing to my channel. I hope you all have a safe and wonderful Thanksgiving. Thank you for watching Grayson's Kitchen, where comfort is always on the menu. I'll see you next time.